Hello, and welcome back to Pleasantview. Things are drawing to a close, and we will soon be finished with this first season of the Let's Play series. We actually only have 2 households left, and today we will move into the last new household with Sims you haven't already met, and that is going to be at the Pleasantview Nursing Home. So that is located right here, next to the hospital in Pleasantview. So let's move into the building and meet the Sims. So here we are at the building. So this is a residential lot where the Sims live as normal, but it's also an institution. And it's right next to the hospital, right here. Anyone who saw my Christmas machinima, The Vicious, got a sneak peek of it. But of course, you couldn't see all of the building back then, so this is going to be the entire thing. So this is a sort of back patio where the elders can hang out, take a dip in the hot tub. Try to get a better look at it. Yeah, so like this. A bunch of flowers and just a nice area out back to rest and enjoy yourself. And then going into the house itself, we have the entrance down here. So this is Tom's clothing tester and a sim blender. Going this way is the living room. And that leads out, of course, to the out patio. And then we have the dining room. And there's a little microphone for performances as well. And then we have the kitchen down here. And then going up one floor, we have a hallway. And here are 2 bathrooms. Apparently we have a broken sink in here. And just a wardrobe. And in this corner we have a Monique's computer for everyone's use. And then we have 1 room here that's currently unused. And that has its own bathroom as well. Going this way is another unused bathroom. This, of course, was Herb Oldie's room once upon a time. And in here we have another double room. It's currently being used by Makoto St. Julien. And then in this room is Abhijeet Bertino's room. And he has quite a lot of stuff brought with him from his previous home. And that's the entire building. So let's meet the Sims. So let's start with Abhijit. He is a romance sim, and he is a Taurus. Extremely playful, but pretty lazy as well. And he is moving down towards being overweight. His hobby is games, so he really enjoys spending his time downstairs at the gaming station. His secondary aspiration is fortune, and his lifetime wish is to become celebrity chef. And we have a little visitor here. I am watching my friend's cat this weekend as well, while she's on vacation. So we might get some visits from Storm from time to time again. So Abhijit has been working in the culinary business his whole life, and he's currently a retired sous chef at level 7. So he reached quite high in that career, although not to the very, very top, but that is of course very difficult. So he spent his life in the kitchen basically. And looking at his family tree, We have 3 sons of his, the eldest of which is Orlando Bertino, and then he has Oliver Bertino, and then finally Nassim Cormier. And he also has a grandchild, and that is Phoebe Bertino, Orlando and Lucy Burb's daughter. So Abhijit has always been a charmer, someone who has been seeing a lot of women and who has been very loving and caring towards the women that he has been seeing. But he's also been a bit too carefree, since he has given away his heart to so many people in his life. He hasn't been able to put in all of his love and affection on one person, and that has resulted in quite a few broken hearts along the way as well. Some women have been very understanding of Abhijit's outlook on life, like being free and taking every day as it comes and enjoying himself. But others have been very outraged by it and felt a bit betrayed by him. So in his younger years, Abhijit moved from place to place, really. He lived in fairly big cities, actually, but he didn't stay long in one place, but he constantly wanted to meet new people. And along the way, at first, he met Orlando's mother, and they had a lot of fun together, but eventually it turned out that she was actually a wanted criminal, a murderer, and it was only after she had become pregnant with Orlando that the police finally caught her, because she needed to visit the hospital, of course. And giving birth to Orlando was the way that they actually eventually managed to imprison her for her crimes. And that was at the time when Abhijit found out about it and got the decision to either give Orlando away or keep him, as since he was his son. And Abhijit decided to keep Orlando and raise him as his own. Abhijit might be a free spirit, but he does feel a strong connection to his kin and family, and he definitely did not want to give away a child of his own. So that was why he decided to keep Orlando. And time moved on, and he kept seeing women from time to time, and also got higher and higher up in the culinary career. And that was the time when he met Oliver's mother. And they were seeing each other for quite a while, actually, and they were really great friends besides being lovers. They were very open with each other. They knew what the other was about, and they both kept seeing a lot of people. And eventually, Oliver's mother decided that she wanted to have a child, and she got pregnant and eventually had Oliver. But sadly, as a complication to the birth, she passed away basically as soon as Oliver was born. So once again, Abhijit got the choice to either keep his child or send Oliver to adoption. But of course, since he already had Orlando, he didn't see any reason to reject Oliver at that point. So Abhijit became the single father of 2 sons, really. And he has been really, really open with both of his sons. He's been teaching them his outlook on life, and he's tried to make them both into free spirits. Orlando has turned out quite different from his father, though. He is a family sim, and he definitely wants to find one partner and stay faithful to that person. But I think that he also has some underlying genetics from his father that makes him a little bit flirtatious at times. Oliver, on the other hand, is very flirtatious, and even though he has committed to an engagement with Demi Love, I think that he really was caught in a moment of passion, and that he truthfully is a little bit young for making that commitment. And I think that Abhijit is definitely surprised that Oliver in particular would make that decision. Because growing up, Oliver, more than Orlando, was becoming a sort of mirror image of his father. Both of them used to work together in the culinary career. And as a teenager, Oliver used to wash the dishes in the same restaurant where Abhijit was working. So they have stayed very close to each other, and along the way they have grown very similar. But yet, I think that Abhijit is definitely very proud of both his sons, the way that they have turned out. So eventually, of course, Abhijit moved together with both his sons to Pleasantview. Oliver was a child at that point, and Orlando was a teenager. and that was when they started to attend the schools in Pleasantview, and Abhijit worked still in the restaurant business, and they worked in one of the apartments on the same apartment lot as Goopy Gilles Carbo and Melissa Fancy at that time. And Abhijit quickly became good friends with both his neighbors Melissa Fancy and Sandy Bruty. And they are still actually his lovers even to this day. It started back then, and this many years later, they are still seeing each other, and they really have grown extremely close and reliant on each other through the years. But back then also, Abhijit was seeing a lot of Andrea Cormier. And Andrea thought that they were actually dating exclusively at that time, that Abhijit was her boyfriend, and that he was faithful to her and only was seeing her. And unfortunately, one must say, I think, she ended up becoming pregnant by mistake. And she was actually going to go ahead and tell Abhijit that she had become pregnant and walked over to his apartment. And that was when she caught him in bed with Sandy Bruty. And that effectively ruined their relationship and any sort of chance that Abhijit had to spend time with his unborn child. So when Andrea eventually gave birth to Nasim, she refused to allow Abhijit to meet his son or see him in any kind of way. And Abhijit was cut out of Nasim's life ever since he was a baby up until he was a teenager, really. So it isn't until very, very recently that Abhijit has been rekindling his old friendship with Andrea and has started to be allowed to see his son. And that is actually mostly because Nasim was interested in who his father was and that he wanted to meet him and get to know him. And that was when Andrea had to bury the hatchet and realize that he would have to have a relationship with his father. So Nasim has actually started to come over to the nursing home every now and then and play video games with his father. So that's a relationship that is being built up right now. They are pretty close, even though they aren't marked as friends or best friends right now, but they're really getting there, I think. But besides these three, in Pleasantview at least, Abhijit hasn't really had any close romantic relationships. Looks like he has been growing a little bit closer with Jessica and Nina, though. But even though they are attracted to each other, I don't think that either Jessica or Nina is the kind of people who would like go and visit him in the nursing home to go on dates with him. So I think that in that sense, his prime years of romance is a little bit over right now, but he still has his old flames that he keeps seeing. So, of course, Melissa works here as the nursing home attendant or the nurse that's in charge of the nursing home. So she comes here every day to look after the elders, and they have quite a lot of fun here, one could say. And Abhijit also sees quite a lot of Sandy still. She comes over and hangs out in the hot tub every now and then, and Abhijit also sneaks off and goes to visit her in her trailer. Yeah, so that's Abhijit. He's moving towards the end of his life right now. He's feeling quite okay. He's pretty old and forgetful and tends to wander around the neighborhood a little bit. But he's not so sick that he can't get out of the house, for one thing. He actually moved to the nursing home mostly because of loneliness rather than illness, and that was because he was still living in that apartment even after his sons had moved out. And once he had become an elder, he was sort of just sitting there in that apartment by himself. And as a retired man, he didn't really have a lot of things to do with himself, really. So out of loneliness, he moved here actually, and sold most of his assets, and most of the money that he had has actually already been sent out to his sons so that they can use it to start up their lives, really. So he doesn't have a lot of funds left, and that's his choice. That's what he decided to do. Next, we have Makoto St. Julien. He is a popularity sim, and he is a Leo. So very, very outgoing, like max outgoing, but also fairly grouchy, actually. And his normal weight, His hobby is music and dance, and his secondary aspiration is pleasure. His lifetime wish is to have 50 dream dates, and he is a retired stand-up comedian. So he doesn't have any familial connections, and that is because he was born in Pleasantview and grew up here with his family. But once he had become a young adult, he decided that he was going to go out on an adventure and travel the world. So Makoto has been all over the place, really. He has not lived in this country for many, many, many years. Actually, he has been backpacking, and he has been living in different countries for several years, working and living and having his close connections in those countries. So he has been anything from bartender to like a receptionist and a businessman, and as you saw, stand-up comedian. He's been doing a lot of things in his life, and he's been really trying to learn as much as possible and live his life to the fullest. He's been really pushing that pleasure sim mentality and been living every day as it comes, and has really been enjoying his life. He's been standing on the top of the highest mountain, and he's been scuba diving, and I mean anything you can think of that's like daredevilish, and he's been really pushing it in those terms and traveled all over the place. So it actually isn't until he had grown a bit older and has been starting to notice quite a few health problems that he decided that enough was enough. He wanted to get back to his roots and return to the place where he was born, and actually moved back to Pleasantview. Now, of course, the first idea was that he was supposed to buy a house and move in here, or an apartment, and live like in a normal house, but it turned out that his health problems made that impossible, unfortunately, and he needed a little bit more attention and a little bit more care. So that was why he ended up moving into the nursing home instead. But this isn't really like an end station for one's life. This is really like a place where you can get extra care, extra community and social needs fulfilled, things like that. And it's not meant to be like a storage facility for old people. It's supposed to be somewhere where you can live out your life and still do things and enjoy yourself. So Makoto doesn't really have any close relationships in those terms, like he doesn't have a family. He never ended up finding a woman to love and marry and have children with or anything like that. He moved around too much, and he didn't really tie any close relationships like that. Of course, he met a lot of women and went on dates, like you saw. That's what he wants to do with his life. But yeah, it never ended up becoming as serious as that. And even if he did meet some people that he was serious about, they didn't want to have the same lifestyle as he did. And they, of course, wanted to have a stable foundation and live somewhere that they didn't move around a lot if they wanted to start a family. But, of course, that wasn't a lifestyle that Makoto could accept. So there were several times in his life that he had to leave a close relationship in order to fulfill his own ambitions in life. And along the way, he has, of course, learned a few quite unusual skills. One of the things that he learned is Tai Chi, actually. So he has been performing Tai Chi in the backyard here, and also been going to the Pleasantview Woodland Park in order to perform it. And he's been teaching Abhijit Tai Chi as well, actually. And some other people in the neighborhood that I've also noticed are all of a sudden practicing Tai Chi. So, yeah, so that's where that is coming from. He only has one close relation left from Pleasantview that he had as a younger man, and that is actually Vamsi Tomyoy. And they were teenage sweethearts. But once the Makoto decided to move away and start backpacking, Vamsi decided that she didn't want to come with him. That wasn't something that she wanted to. She might be interested in traveling a little bit, going on vacations and such, but she didn't want to move countries. She didn't want to spend that much time on something like that when she felt so at home where she lived already. So those two ended up breaking up. But of course, she's still in Pleasantview, and now that also Makoto has moved back, we will have to see what happens with those two. All right, so let's start up their day. We only have those two living here right now, and I have some other Sims in mind that might move in eventually, but for now I think this is quite enough. I also want to try to keep the beds empty and available for some of the other elders in the neighborhood if they would need them. I tend to not want to move them in here if I can avoid it, because I prefer to have the elders actually living at home still and be like healthy and happy, and not that they wouldn't be healthy and happy here either, but it's more of a home for people who aren't completely up to speed on their health. One could say it's meant to be like close to the hospital, and we have nurses coming here and working and such. So in that sense, it is a home for someone who is not completely healthy. But I also handle sickness in a particular way, and I tend to want to get that to be a little bit randomized who will end up here. I'll show you a bit more about how I do that once we move on to the final episode in this season, where I just go through everything that I finish up and then prepare for the next rotation. But yeah, in a sense, it's if an elder gets pneumonia and is hospitalized, that is when I decide if they should be sent here or not. So yeah, starting out, I don't make their beds. I will allow the nurses to do that instead. So I will actually just let Makoto use the bathroom, and Abhijit as well. And then they can just lace about until Melissa arrives at 7 to make breakfast for them. So they're both coming down here to just watch some TV for now. And it looks like Makoto might be a little bit interested in Abhijit's hobby to play games, and even if playing video games isn't really what Makoto likes doing, I think that he's the type of person who would like engage other people in conversations about their likes and dislikes, and just want to get to know them as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Yeah, they're talking about breakfast as well, looks like, and perhaps like visits that they will do to the hospital. All right, so it's 7. So I'm going to summon Melissa. There she is. So I'm making her selectable. And as you can see, she's a nurse. Technically, she wouldn't be working today, but I'm just getting her here every day, since it's like one sim day is 1 year. It doesn't really matter that much what day of the week it is. So I'm going to use the Tom's clothing tester, and that is something that you can spawn like this from the game. It's nothing that you have to download. So you can just get it that way, and then dress them in any kind of career outfit that you want. So it's going to be medicine and level 3. Okay, that's weird. I have a mod that gives them the scrubs instead of this. Okay, looking through my folders, I don't know what has happened. It looks like it's not there anymore, so I'll just pop up to the game and see if I can find it, and I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back, and let's try this again. There we go. Now it looks a lot better. Yeah. All right, so the thing with having playable working sims on residential lot like this is that you have to be very careful about how long you have them selectable, because her work starts at 7. Now she has a day off, so it doesn't really matter. So today I can have her selectable the entire period. But if it would be like a Tuesday, for example, I would summon her in at 7, and then a few hours in, it would remove one of her vacation days and say that she was absent from work. And I mean, she has 9 and she's pretty old, so it doesn't really matter all that much specifically for Melissa, if that were to happen. But You might not want to have that happen if you have a sim that's like doesn't have any vacation days at all, for one thing, if they're like new at the job and then they lose job performance, things like that. Yeah, something to just keep in mind. So yeah, so today I'm going to have her selectable for the entire period, but I wouldn't have it on other days, if that makes sense. So she's going to be here until 2. And the first thing that I'm going to have her do is to start up on breakfast. So I think I actually am going to put in that mod that makes you be able to pick how many servings there are. Yeah, there it is. And let's put it, yeah, there I think. Because I think it would only make sense if she only served 2. And then, yeah, let's make some pancakes. Of course, Abhijit is an excellent cook, so it often happens that he cooks like dinner and such for them. I mean, since she is not working evenings anyway, but it's possible to have like teenagers or elders or someone with a part-time job that has like later hours, or if you just switch between 2 sims that you just set custom hours for, or yeah, you could prepare meals for the evenings as well. Is another idea if you want to have something like this. Great, so I'm going to have these guys eat. And yeah, Melissa will clean that up. And just keep things tidy in here. Yeah, so these guys are getting along quite well down here. And I'm going to make Melissa go up here and make the beds. We also have this broken faucet. And I mean, I don't think it makes sense that she would work on it, actually. So I will ask her to call a service. Oh, okay, we can't choose repairman, so I guess that they have already called one. So he or she will be over later. So Melissa can just go ahead and make the beds. So they're talking about fights they've been in and exchanging experience from their college year, probably. Okay, so Melissa is done with the beds, looks like. She's going to recycle this. She can bring in the newspaper. So Makoto is done. So I'm going to have him walk up here and change into his everyday outfit, and Abhijit's going to do the same thing once he's done as well. It looked like he was thinking that Makoto was attractive, but it turns out that it was Melissa. I was a bit shocked because Abhijit is straight, so to my knowledge anyway. All right. Right, so Melissa can also go ahead and use this bathroom and then clean both of them. And I think, yeah, those are clean. And then, yeah, that can be cleaned as well. Right, and looks like Makoto wants to go down and sing, but I actually think it would be nicer for these two to walk to the park together and spend some time over there while Melissa freshens up the place a bit. Right, so it's going to be Woodland Park, and I think I might have to summon Melissa again once they return. We'll have to see. He also thinks she's attractive. She's a very attractive woman. Yeah, and here's the repairman as well. Lee Lewis. So these two are arriving at the park, and amusingly enough, Melissa is actually here in her scrubs. So I guess one could say that she came with to supervise. Yeah, so I actually would like both of these guys to head over here somewhere. This is probably a good place. And of course it's raining. Such nice weather. So I think we have a little bit more flat ground here. So I would like them both to perform Tai Chi. And yeah, you can also do it. Good. Yeah. So of course Makoto is definitely more of a master of this, and Abhijit is doing his best to follow along, observing what Makoto is doing. Oh, okay. Apparently Melissa decided to join in. Fair enough. Yeah, she doesn't know at all what she's doing. But she's doing her best anyway. Yeah, Abhijit is definitely a lot better than her, even though Makoto is the the master here. They're actually gaining energy from this, so they're in a perfect mood right now. So I think they could keep doing this for quite a while. Looks like Melissa had enough though. Oh, no, I guess not. Okay, Melissa, time to make up your mind. Yeah, she left good. Okay, we have another person who wants to join here, Ira Chalmers. Okay, I guess he's gay. He's been showing up a little bit here and there in the neighborhood, and he's been behaving a bit like, well, not very kindly to others. I don't think that very many people like him, actually. He seems to be pretty awkward, but I mean, right now he seems like a good sport anyway. Yeah, okay. So we have some more joiners, and I think that it's raining quite heavily at this point. So I think actually that it's time for them to head back home. Looks like Abhijit could eat again. It's a shame that it started to rain so heavily, because it seemed like it was a good day until they arrived, basically. Wow, he's really pointing out that he's attracted to her, but it's only 2 bowls, so not that incredible, but yeah, still. I think that she might be one of the people he finds most attractive. Yeah, only Nina Caliente so far. But who doesn't like Nina, of course. Right, so they are returning, and of course Melissa isn't here anymore. So I'm going to summon her back again. Okay, great, so there she is, and yeah, I wanted to have her clean a bit, so he's going to be working in there, so let's just start with these 2. Okay, she already finished that, it looks like. So maybe just leave the bathrooms alone for now, since he is going to be working in them. Looks like both of these guys would need some freshening up, but I think for now they can just sit here with Melissa as well and just relax while the repairman does his job. So I bet that these 2 guys have a lot of fun stories to tell. Very traveled, very knowledgeable. Like Abhijit has been moving around a lot as well in his life, even if it's not in other countries. And they seem pretty charismatic as well, both of them. So I bet that they would have very funny stories as well to sort of try to top each other. So I bet that Melissa has a lot of fun at her job. All right, so the sink is repaired again. So I'm going to have Melissa start with this bathroom and then move over here so that they can freshen up. Makoto can actually start, and then Abhijit can grab something from the fridge, I think. There should be some leftovers. I think that Abhijit definitely thinks that this is a perk of living here, because it's quite a big kitchen with a lot of stuff in it, and of course in the previous apartment, even though he had tried to make a nice kitchen for himself. It's not the same thing as something like this. And this is more like the industrial kind of kitchen that he is used to from work as well. So I think he's very pleased in that way to have this kitchen available. All right, so looks like Melissa is done with cleaning. She can use that bathroom. And I think she can also go ahead and put away this. Great, so Abhijit is done as well, so he can go ahead and use this bathroom then, while Melissa cleans up. Right, so I think that Makoto has been having some contact with his old friend in Pleasantview and has had some phone calls with her and let her know that he will be moving here. And yeah, Vamsi, I think, is very interested in meeting him and seeing how he is and talk to him and like hang out, get to know him better again. So I think it would be nice to invite her over. I think it might be too soon to invite her on a date because we don't really know much about her yet, but we can have her over to hang out with Makoto. Yeah, she'll be right over. Perfect. So I think he would be a little bit nervous. So I think he'd walk down here to sit and wait anxiously. Yeah, and Melissa is done as well. They don't really need to eat yet. And the beds are made as well. So I think that she can just grab a little lunch for herself, have a TV dinner. And here she is in all her glory. Right? So Makoto is going to greet her. And of course, they're very happy to see each other. So I'm just going to have them sit here for now. And let's see if I can have Vamsi join as well. Looks like she's headed into the kitchen for some reason. Oh, she's going to stand by the ventilation. Okay, but yeah, let's ask her to join. Okay, so she's done with her lunch, so I'm going to have her take that away. And he's also done with his bath, so I think that they are going to do something that they often do. They will sneak in here and woohoo a little bit in the closet while this guy is occupied with his friend. Right, so they're getting along really well. Looks like he's not attracted to her, at least not yet. But he's, of course, very, very happy to see her. And there's a lot of old memories coming up. She tells him a little bit about her life as well, the way that things went on after he left. And, of course, Vamsi lived out her whole life in Pleasantview. And she had a family and everything and a husband. And unfortunately, he passed away some years ago, so she's not married anymore or seeing anyone. But she still has her children, of course, who visits her from time to time, but right now she lives alone in her house. And of course, Makoto has a lot of awesome stories from his travels to tell her as well. And I think she's very fascinated in a way because this is, I mean, because traveling with Makoto would have been like her reality if she would have agreed to go with him. So I think that she likes to envision what would have happened, what her life would have been like if she had actually gone ahead and done it now in her older days as well. I don't think that she regrets it though. I think that she wouldn't trade her family and children and her life for anything. But I think that she must wonder what it would have been like. All right, so Melissa is having a blast in here on her own, but I think it would be nice to serve up some lunch. Abhijit doesn't need to eat again, but Makoto would like to eat, I think, and it would be nice also if he could share some food with Vamsi as well. So yeah, this is already set to 2, so that's perfect. So let's serve up some chef salad, I guess would be good. He wants to practice on that, but I don't think that he would do that really. He wants to get better in logic. I've actually changed this around, so this is science instead of games nowadays. But yeah, he would definitely want to play some games in here. All right, so lunch is served, and of course Makoto is going to grab that one. And I'm going to use Melissa to call guests to meal. And let's hope that Vamsi actually grabs the other one so she can clean that up. Yeah, it looks like she's on her way, I think. No, she's not. She's going to play games. So let's just help her out a bit. So let's just wait for her, I think. Let's sit there. Nice. So they're having some nice food together. And I think that Makoto would actually flirt a little bit with her. See where this goes. Yeah, she enjoyed that. It didn't really change the relationship in any way, but I think that he would definitely, now that he knows that she's not married anymore, and that quite some time has passed since her husband passed away as well, that he would definitely try to go for it. She is his childhood girlfriend, after all, and they have that history. And of course, Makoto also wonders somehow, like, what would have happened if Vamsi had agreed to actually come with him on his travels. So, yeah. So Melissa is watching Abhijit play right now, but it's actually time for her to leave. So I'm going to dismiss her, really. So I'm going to clear off Melissa. And that was her workday. So yeah, Abhijit is going to keep playing a little bit, I think. Yeah, so I'm guessing that she would head out to the bathroom now because looking at her needs, that was pretty low. So Makoto is going to clean up a bit after the lunch, now that Melissa isn't here anymore. Right. So he'd probably just sit here and watch for a while she freshens up. Great, so here is Vamsi, and I think that now that they've been talking a bit and hanging out, I think that Makoto would actually brave himself up and ask her out on a date. So I'm going to go for it and see what happens. Yeah, she agreed. That's really nice. So I've actually gone ahead and already locked in flirt with Makoto. So I think I'm going to unlock that again because I'm not controlling her. So let's see what happens, really. I'm just trying to think if they would head out somewhere or if they would stay here. No, I actually think that they would probably head out to the health center. That seems pretty nice, actually, for them. Maybe swim a little bit and hang out in the hot tubs there, and yeah, I think that's a good idea. So let's head to the health center. So here they come. Yeah, so far they haven't headed inside, but yeah, let's do that eventually. I think that let's start out by chatting a bit. They probably have some nice memories from their childhood here. They would have attended high school, of course. It's possible that the building didn't look like this when they were children, but yeah, it's probably been built onto with more modern things like these huge windows and such. But I am pretty sure that it's still like in the same place and the same sort of brick exterior. And having this right next to the high school, of course, they would have spent a lot of time here as well, seeing as they're both pretty active Sims. Oh, okay. And now he wants to fall in love with her. So that's so sweet. That's, yeah, exactly what I wanted. So I really hope that happens. So let's see. But yeah, they want to play a little bit, so let's do that. Oh, now she wants to fall in love with him as well. This is just so cute. Yeah, but I feel like they are both becoming very youthful and sort of coming back to life together. Yes, so let's admire her a little bit. Right, so now they have like dance wants and such. He still wants to entertain her. That makes sense, seeing as he's a retired stand-up comedian. Yeah, I think it's a long time since someone made Vamsi laugh like this. I think that she's become a bit lonely actually after her husband passed away and her children grew up and moved out. I think that a lot of the things that she enjoyed by staying in Pleasantview and spending her life here has been removed in her elder years, really. And she might have been a little bit lonely. But yeah, meeting Makoto again, I think, is definitely something that is going to make her very happy. So let's see if we can do a little bit of flirting to get the date performance up a bit. So I suppose as a lot of memories from their childhood pops up in this place and they're meeting each other, I think that they feel quite youthful as well doing this. Yeah, but so far they're just flirting. They're not having any romantic feelings. So I think maybe giving her a hug is a good idea. Okay, good. So we moved up to good date. So I think that we could head in here, at least walk into the building. Isn't she coming? Oh, she's going that way. Okay. But I think that, yeah, let's meet up in here then, in the spa area. Ah, this door has glitched out a bit. Okay. Yeah, but they're alone in here. It's quite a nice atmosphere, I think. So I think that he would go for a kiss. And she's not into it at all. She doesn't appreciate that at all. So he's losing a little bit of confidence. He's not sure what to do next. So I think that he would just suggest that they get in the hot tub. For some reason, he's skinny dipping. Okay, sure. Go ahead. That wasn't what I expected, but hey. I guess he's feeling comfortable enough. So I suppose he's apologizing about the kissing attempt, and looks like she's fine with it. I think that in general, Vamsi hasn't had a lot of experience with romance, so something like that was probably pretty out of nowhere, and she's probably not that fast-moving and experienced like Makoto is. So let's move a bit closer. Let's see if she wants to cuddle, despite his nudity. Yeah, that went well. So let's see if she wants a massage. Yeah, not for very long though. Yeah, it looks like that was quite enough for her. Yeah, so time is starting to run out, but I think this is as far as we can push it right now. Maybe like we can get them out of the tub and see if Makoto can get dressed again, at least. Thank you. And yeah, let's see if she could go for some more romantic interactions, but probably no kissing. Right, so let's see if she can accept a kiss hand, maybe? Yeah, she did actually. She did accept that. And that's pretty sweet. Right, so they're going to end up with a good date. And that's pretty nice, I think. That's quite all right. And it looks like Makoto's reputation increased as well. So let's see what he has. He has reputable resident. So that's good. Yeah, so I think that now that they have hang out and actually gone on a date and have started to like thinking those terms with each other, I think that even though they're moving slowly, I think that this is definitely going to continue. And let's see what happens. So Makoto is going to head back home, actually. So Makoto is returning, and apparently Vamsi decided to walk him home. Looks like she's waving goodbye, and let's say goodbye to her. That was very sweet of her, actually, to walk him home. Nice. So he's a little bit tired right now and needs to use the bathroom. So let's start with that, and then I think he might have a nap out here on the patio. Abhijit, on the other hand, is still playing games, and it's actually after school hours now. So I think that Nassim would actually head over here after school to meet his father. There he is. So I'm going to have him join. And this is the kind of routine that they have started up, father and son, that Nassim is coming here after school and just spending some time with Abhijit, and they play games together and bond a little bit. So of course Abhijit is very interested in Nassim and the kind of life that he leads, and of course his romantic life as well, seeing as he's a teenager. And very, very recently, Nassim has actually started to go out with Julie Bruti, who is Sandy Bruti's daughter. And of course, Abhijit has been having an sort of friendly, not relationship, but seeing each other friendship, whatever, friends with benefits relationship, I guess, with Sandy. So I think that that his son is now dating his lover's daughter is a little bit tangled and strange. But of course, it's nothing that like is that open. I don't think that Nassim was very aware of his father's relationship with Sandy, seeing as he hadn't really met Julie's mother before like a few days ago, and then also he hasn't spent a lot of time with Abhijit, so he doesn't know what kind of relationships he has. But of course, Abhijit understands at once that Julie Bruti is Sandy's daughter. So yeah, I think that that is something that Abhijit is going to have in his mind and ponder about what to do, because at like right now he feels a bit uncomfortable with that. I think that's a bit of a strange situation. So I think that he might keep his distance from Sandy a little bit while he thinks things through. So yeah, I think that Nassim is going to sit here for a while and just hang out with his dad. And as a matter of fact, I think that seeing as Nassim is coming here so often and Abhijit definitely wants to involve him more in his life, that he would have invited over his other two sons as well. So I think that it would make sense if both Orlando and Oliver arrived as well to hang out. So let's get those two as well. So of course Oliver and Nassim hung out in the middle of the night in the cafe for a while, a few days back. But I think that Orlando has mainly been seeing him in school, because Orlando, of course, is Nassim's homeroom teacher, to make things even more complicated. Oh, that's a fun one. I think I want to switch those over. Yeah, so I think that they're just going to sit here and hang out for a bit. So we have Abhijit's pride and joy gather in the same room. Looks like they're talking about a recent golden anniversary party that Orlando attended, and I think it's probably the Tellerman family's one. Yeah, that was quite a memorable party. A lot of things happened. But I think this is nice as well because, of course, Nassim is extremely close with his mother and his uncle, Ricky Cormier. But other than that, he hasn't really had very many close relationships with his family. And I really like the thought of him getting to know his brothers better. Looks like someone is calling Abhijit. It's Goopy. Okay. I suppose that Goopy wants to have a chat about the new restaurant, seeing as Abhijit has also been working in the restaurant business his whole life. And yeah, I think that Abhijit probably has quite a few tricks up his sleeve and things that he wants to recommend to Goopy, now that Goopy is starting out with that business and trying to make it profitable, of course. But it looked like they didn't speak for very long, so I'm just going to have him sit down again. And meanwhile, of course, Makoto is out here snoozing. All right, yeah, so it's getting closer to dinner time. So I think that Orlando is going to head back home to his wife. And I think Oliver also feels like this was enough of a visit. And yeah, Nassim also needs to head home as well. So let's just make all of these guys unselectable. And of course, Abhijit is starting to feel a bit tired as well. So I think that he would like a nap. So I think that he's just going to ask everyone to leave. Very nice. So they're heading out, and Abhijit is freshening up and having a nap. So he doesn't seem to have a cup of feel here, but I think I want to add that. So Makoto is feeling a little bit refreshed after his nap in the afternoon sun. And I actually think that it would be nice for him to get to know some more people in the neighborhood, because he doesn't know a lot of people right now, and at least meeting some more elders would be nice, I think. So I think it would be good to send him to the library. That seems like a place that he would enjoy going to, and then see what kind of people shows up. So let's head out with him again. So Makoto is arriving, and I actually think that Makoto is the kind of person who would sign up to a lot of like evening activities, like learning opportunities and things like that. So I think that something like a study group or a book club of some sort would be interesting for him to attend in the evenings in the library. And I think that there are some elders in the neighborhood who would enjoy that as well. So it would be like a club for only elders, I think, something like that. And yeah, I'm going to summon in some Sims here who I think would attend something like that. Yeah, so John Burb, I think, would definitely want to be here. Darren Goth. Yep. Yeah, Kome. But I don't think that Jan would want to be here. But yeah, Kome definitely. I don't think that Daniel or Mary Sue would like to be here, actually. That doesn't seem like them. Yeah, I think actually both Brandy and Brandon would like to be here. Yeah, I think that these 6 would actually be quite nice. So I think I'm going to put them up here. And apparently this needs to be disabled so that Jennifer isn't forced to do all this. Looks like John ran into Lucy and had to greet her, of course, before he headed upstairs. That makes sense. Don't know why they're not keep sitting, but yeah. Great, so this is a nice opportunity to have them become friends, I think. and yeah, discuss all kinds of matters, really. I think it's like a nice hobby activity for elders that's like disguised as a book club or something like that, but in reality, they're actually, yeah, just here to hang out, really. But yeah, I'm struggling to keep them seated. So let's see if I can use this. So this is the Need Freak. Wait, what's the current setup for this? All right, so let's set comfort to max 0, I guess. Let's see if that helps keeping them seated. And for some reason, I again have issues with the lighting up here, even though I fixed it. I don't know why, but it seems like the lighting on the upper floors are different from the one downstairs in a lot of places. And I don't know why. So yeah, I'll have to try to keep fixing it. But yeah, let's see if I can grab that cheat that allows me to put in some more lights at least to fix this temporarily. Great, and let's see. I mean, just doing this helps it, but I really don't know why this happens. Yeah, so all right, so even though have been sitting here chatting for a while, looks like Makoto has only been speaking to John for some reason. So that's a little bit annoying. So I think that I'm going to have to go ahead and have him greet everyone separately to make sure that he actually meets them. Okay, good. Now he has met everyone at least. That's good. So let's see if the conversation is reset a bit when he sits down again. And apparently Jessica wanted to butt in as well. Yeah, but still, it looks like these four are having a very nice conversation. But yeah, these two are just speaking with each other. So it seems like John and Makoto took to each other and might become great friends. So that's pretty promising. Yeah, so I think that that is quite enough for now. So I'm actually going to just have Makoto walk back home. He's had a chance to meet some of the newer, he's had a chance to meet some of the residents in Pleasantview, that is. And yeah, there's great potential for good friendships, I think, in this group. So he's waving goodbye to John. So that's nice. Yeah, I think that that's a good friendship, actually. Makoto is back and he's really, really tired. And he's also feeling a bit hot, actually. But I think that it would be a good idea to have him nap in here as well. And for some reason, Abhijit hasn't had the time to do it yet. So let's just have both of them nap. So it's been a pretty exciting day for Makoto today. He's been on a date and he's been out to be in that club and meet some new friends, and he's been in the park to do some Tai Chi. I mean, Makoto really proves the point, really, that even though you're an elder, your life isn't over. That kind of thing. So looks like I need to move this back a bit. Yeah, that's good, I think. So they're just gonna nap for a while. That's quite enough for Abhijit, I think. So he's going to wake up and head down to the kitchen and cook up some nice dinner for them. So something luxurious, I think. Pork chops. Sounds good. Yeah. Yeah, he would definitely make sure to eat something really, really luxurious and spoil himself. Great, so the dinner is done, and yeah, let's wake up Makoto as well. He needs to use the bathroom first, and then let's head down. So Abhijit's just gonna wait a bit until Makoto comes down so that they can eat together. He's waiting very impatiently. He actually looks a little bit annoyed. What's taking so long? These elders, they move so slowly. Now he looks happy. Now we can eat. That's good. Yeah, they're talking about food, and I think that seeing as Makoto has been living in so many different countries, I think that he has quite the experience in foods, different kinds of things to eat all over the world. And I think that Abhijit is really interested in getting some intel on that. Right, so seeing as Makoto used to be a stand-up comedian, and he wants to make more friends in the neighborhood and have something to spend his time on, I think that he would plan out some sort of a stand-up evening where he would entertain guests in this place and possibly have the local elders over to hang out at some sort of party or something. And yeah, I think that he would need to practice his performance a bit. So he would probably spend the rest of his evening just performing stand-up comedy. And I think that Abhijit would be a good practice audience for him as well. So once Abhijit has cleaned up after dinner, that's going to be what he does as well. So Makoto is of course used to standing on bigger stages than this and more like pub environments and things. So he's used to having quite a big crowd. So that's what he will expect, I think, from an evening like that. Yeah, Abhijit thinks he's really good, apparently. That's good. But he's actually not sitting down to watch him, so possibly one would need to have like a chair standing and facing the stage, sort of. So I can just try it with this, I think, and see what happens. So if you sit down here, Abhijit, can you actually... oh, he's done. Okay. Let's try this again then. Can you watch from the chair? Okay, you have to stand to watch, actually. Okay, that's a bummer. I wonder if there's a mod for that. It would make sense that they would sit and attend the performance, but okay. I guess that's just the design. Nice. Okay, so it looks like everything is going well. I think that Abhijit would walk up to Makoto and admire him for that. I think that Abhijit is really enjoying his budding friendship with Makoto. He has such interesting things to show him and teach him. So it's actually pretty late, and these guys are probably pretty tired from today. So Makoto is just going to have a bath, and I think that Abhijit is also just going to use the bathroom and head to bed. And there we go. The elders are tucked in bed, and it's time to end their day. So that was the nursing home. Hopefully not all that depressing, and even though they're elders, I think that it makes sense that their life isn't just over. They still have rich lives with relationships and families and people to meet and activities to do. So I think that keeps things interesting even in a place like this, even though they are old and they are sick in some ways and lonely. I think that they can take comfort in each other, and with the nurses as well arriving to help them, I think that this is a pretty nice place to live as an elder, actually. And I hope that you agree as well. And I hope, of course, that you enjoyed this episode. So let's see you next time, and take care. Bye.